I think Sundays is beautiful for us because it's much relaxed for the people. But for me, it has been quite a tight schedule right from morning until 7:30. My last consultation I just finished, and then after that sat down. I had to rearrange all my slides. But anyway, it's all a beautiful journey we are all going through. I'm excited because at the end of the day, the sharing is what I love, and then the beauty is when I see the smile on you all, waiting for this sharing, it gives me a lot of like energy. What terahertz water gives, that's the way it is actually. And as you really beautifully shared the slides of the animals, while using the terahertz water, what exactly happens. In fact, in reality, animals can sense what is good and what
Yes.
is not good very easily. In fact, those days, how do you check the water whether it's good or not? Especially people when they were using the horses, they will leave the horse first to go and drink the water. And they always will say, when the horse goes and drinks the water, it means that it's a safe drinking water. Now imagine that's the sense of an animal which can perceive the goodness of water. Now when animals can do that, why is that we human beings we cannot do it? Now it's not that we cannot do it, but what's happened is in our journey of life, we have gone to a stage where we are looking very external in every aspect, and we want a proof for everything. Certain things you don't need a proof because many a times it's your gut feeling through which you will decide, and then you will start moving forward. But on the other side, there's a lot of scientific community which are working on to prove it that it can be repeatable. That means you drink water today, and once again you drink water tomorrow, the effect should be there, repeatable. So that's what is science all about. So saying that, in our journey, see what's happening is the most beautiful part, especially the heart care which I shared last week. Once again, to continue that, let me move on to our next slide. So just a recap for those people who have missed it, I just want to recollect it. So what is important is heart is one of the important organs working non-stop. Right from the sixth week it starts, and then until we are alive on this planet Earth, it works. It's like you can call it as a workaholic because it's been continuously working without putting a full stop to it. Now, the second thing what last week I shared was the microcirculation, which normally, if you ask even a medical professional people, do you check microcirculation or do you know about microcirculation? Not many of them would even say that they know something about microcirculation, nor there is a machine available to check your microcirculation. The reason is it's not their fault. The reason is the medical fraternity has been given the information in a very orderly manner that certain things are not into the picture, and that's why we don't know. So in that way we are still okay. But I as a doctor went into all this for the reason that this so important that we need to know how is your microcirculation. So that was something which I shared last week. Now, you should get your microcirculatory system analyzed. For the reason is you will exactly know what can happen in the next 6 months to 1 year to 3 years time. What will happen in your circulatory system? You can already see in the microcirculation, and you can predict what all the situation can happen. In fact, with the nail bed circulation, the most beautiful part is it is divided into 10 different parts from head to toe. And the professor from China who trained us was so specific that she can pick information right from the brain, where she can tell exactly whether you will get an attack of stroke or what kind of circulatory problems you can have from head, then the neck, then your chest, then your heart, then your abdomen, then your lower limbs, then your foot. Like that you can actually divide the whole system. Even though the nail bed is a very very small area, but still we can go very detailed. And because it's called the second heart, we need to see the second heart before the first heart gets into problem. We need to look at the second heart so that we know what's happening and we change. Now, what's happening is if your circulation is good, patent, and the blood flow is very good, that means the blood circulation to all the organs, including your drinking terahertz water, can reach that particular area because your circulation is good. So, saying that, let's go on to the next thing, wherein I was talking about the other areas what we need to do for our heart. Definitely there is something called we need to have a proper nutrition. What you eat is what you are. Now the best part today I am going to share is I got my blood test done for omega 3, omega 6 and omega 9, and the blood test is done in Sweden, and I sent the blood sample from Malaysia to Sweden and I got the results in 10 days time. Now something which was not only shocking to me, but I think it is I'm learning from all these newer innovative things which the world is coming down, and I will be sharing what exactly is all about. So coming back to the proper nutrition, let me go into the details of what we need to do. Now very simple, I think in general if you look at, definitely we need to avoid whatever is in white color, like your salt, from your sugar to your white rice. Now there is something which when you're looking at the white rice, what I would like to share here is, see, white rice basically if you look at, it's totally a polished rice which they are selling in the market. Now when you look at the polished rice, that means the bran outside the layer of that rice is taken out. Once you take out the bran of the rice, what happens is all the nutrients which is there on the coating is removed. Very simple. The zinc is removed, copper is removed, and there is another wonderful ingredient inside the bran which actually is called methylcobalamin, which is very important for sugar control. Now just imagine you are removing it and you are eating only the white rice, which is more of starch. What will happen is you will develop insulin resistance over a period of time. Now such of those who are all eating white rice for a very long time definitely are prone for diabetes, because I wouldn't say diabetes, it's sugar metabolism. If there is a sugar metabolism, definitely you are prone for that particular related disease, and we call it as diabetes. Now the moment you get diabetes, it is related to blood vessels. Definitely your blood vessels will be affected. The moment blood vessels are affected, what happens? The first thing you see in your foot is there is a small wound, it doesn't heal. There is a small ulcer like thing, doesn't heal. But over a period of time you will see that you're probably the toes starts becoming black. That means the blood circulation is hampered. Now what we will do is we'll go to the doctor in the hospital. What they will say, yeah, this particular toe is already dead, so we need to remove it. So they will amputate it, cut it off and throw it off. Now after that what happens? Definitely there is no, they are not going to increase the blood circulation, but of course we would be given blood thinning tablets, wherein once you consume, and then they will say you need to control your diabetes and blood pressure and other things they will say. But in reality, if you see a person who has already undergone an amputation of the toe, definitely he will go to the next stage where they will amputate the leg. After that they will amputate the above the ankle, then below the knee. This is what normally happens. Now why is this all happening is because of the circulatory disturbances. So what's happening? We just started off with the rice alone, but you can get into a problem once a disease sets in. There is a lot of other problems which you will start facing, and definitely once the disease sets in, for you to get back to normalcy is going to be difficult. But I would say start today. Let's look into how to become more healthier, or in other words I would say, how do you optimize your health? Whatever you are today, no issues, but optimize the best of your abilities to give the best to your body so that it can do its job. Now other than that, now we go to the second point. All the processed food, if you can avoid, why not? All the canned food, tin food, we have to avoid because they use lot of preservatives. Can you believe a processed food? I put it in a can. Do you know how many months you can store it? Probably anywhere from 6 months to 2 years to 3 years. And what exactly is that? The food what you are putting inside is being stored for so many number of months or years. How does it happen? And once you open the can and you're going to eat, what will happen? Of course, it's easy for you because we are all working today, and opening a canned food and then season it and then start eating it. For one time you eat, no problem, you will be still safe. But imagine if you're going to consume it over a period of time continuously. It's same like little drops of rain make a mighty ocean. Now the little poison what is coming inside your body when you are in your 40s and 50s, definitely you start seeing some problem wherein we will not be able to exactly tell you this is your problem. Now why is that? Because we don't know what's happening at your cellular level. And number two, the disease is not fully manifested so that we can pick it up from our blood test or x-rays or any other investigation. It is still not open, but definitely we are putting our body into risk. Now just imagine, we all, from morning until evening, some people are working 12 hours, 14 hours, driving all the way from Klang to KL, or maybe driving 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers to earn our a living. Now when you look at that, you should always invest in eating the right food. If that is the case, how many of us can prepare fresh food and eat? In today's world, it is one side difficult, but on the other side, why not make it possible? Because you need to plan everything. When you need to plan everything, you need to know what vegetable are you going to buy this week, what kind of food are you going to put a chart. It will help you to make your journey much more healthier. Then coming back to meat and meat products, of course if you look at the world, 80 to 90% of the people are all on the meat, and in one way or the other way they are eating meat. Now I am not here to say promote totally become a vegetarian, but what I would say is, if you can reduce the meat products, especially when you are in the 40 plus group, wherein you would be facing a lot of inflammatory situation, especially when you're eating the meat and meat products which is not fresh and which is been kept in the freezer for a very long time with an expiry date. What is happening is, we are giving an advantage for the product to cause some kind of disturbances in your metabolism. So what I would request is, reduce it. Even the fish and fish products, see, those days when you're looking at the fish and fish products, it used to be from the freshwater lake, and there were not much of pollution in the sea or even the lakes where they used to fish. But today we see a lot of pollution, a lot of oil spills happening, and then the fishes are getting intoxicated, and now those are the things coming down to the market, and then it is being sold. So what happens? It is also, like for example, if you're looking at the fish and fish products, mercury is one of the poisoning, heavy metal poisoning, which will come into your body in a very very slow manner. Now one of the uh, toxic effect which we all miss is, there is something called autoimmune diseases, which clinically to present in a hospital, maybe for you to pick it up, it takes 5 years. Now what is happening inside, not many of us know, but there is some autoimmune situation happening. Now once a stage comes in wherein your body starts fighting its own self, then we label it as it's an autoimmune disease. Now when we give you some medication, definitely the symptoms are reduced, but have we overcome the disease? No. Most of the time autoimmune diseases, once it starts, it will be there. And mercury is one of the poison which goes inside your body, and definitely it triggers a autoimmune disease. Now not only mercury causes autoimmune diseases, it is also one of the reasons for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. These are all little things. Of course, the heavy metal poisoning which is inside the body is one of the reasons of many diseases, wherein we are only looking at the treatment part, and we are giving a solution in the form of giving tablets or in the form of physiotherapies. So we need to be little careful when you are looking at the fish and fish related products. Now coming back to, of course, chicken. Of course, today you see a chicken which normally should grow in 2.5 months. Today it grows in just 3 weeks time. Why is that? Because it's been given with steroid injections, antibiotic injections, and then it's sold in the market. Now you're going to eat chicken. Of course, the taste is very good with all the curries and the spices we put. It is tasty, fantastic. But what happens is, when you look at the long term, like the reasons, if you look at the younger children group between 5 to 10 years, when they eat a lot of these processed food like chicken, ready-made chickens available, what happens is they mature very early. Boys mature very early, girls mature very early, and they start putting on weight very easily. All these, see, these are all problems. Many times we will not be able to pinpoint and tell you this is a problem, because there can be genetic issues, there can be epigenetic issues. Now other than that, can you see all the aerated drinks? I would say you have to avoid. But when you go to a KFC or when you go to a McDonald's, if there is a delay in giving you the food, you think what drink they give you? They will give you one big glass of aerated drink free. You don't have to pay for it. It's a free drink they will give you. Now imagine the amount of sugar in it, in that particular aerated drink. It's very high. Now, because our mindset is like that, anything free, of course, we just go there, pick it up and drink. But this also in a long run definitely will be having a toll on your health. So you need to avoid. Now, if I am talking all this, am I doing it? I am definitely doing it. That is how I am boldly able to tell. Even in my clinic, when my patients come in, I will directly tell them, you cannot do this. That's it. Now, whether you want to take it or not, it's up to them. But this is what is my guidelines I give them. No smoking, definitely. Because smoking in a long run definitely not only hampers the oxygenational level at your lungs, but at your cellular level as well. Other than that, if you are a chronic smoker, of course your vessels become thickened, and the atherosclerosis, what we call, is wherein the vessel wall flexibility comes down. So automatically you can be prone for blood pressure, you can be prone for heart diseases, you can be prone for other blood circulatory diseases, like right from the foot, wherein there will be cramps and pains in your leg, which is unexplainable. Many times it happens because your microcirculation gets compromised. Now last but not the least, wheat and wheat products has to be reduced, because we found that in the epigenetic factor, one of the main problem when you eat wheat related or the bakery related products is the gluten. So today if you see a lot of products, they will write is gluten free. Now why do they do that? Is because gluten is one of the inflammatory situation where it creates in your body inflammation, and thereby it can affect your gut system, wherein the absorption of nutrient is hampered. And when there is an inflammation in your gut, that in turn can trigger your autoimmune, that in can trigger your reduced immunity, that in turn can reduce a lot of metabolism related with your liver. If we can list it, there are a lot of problems can happen in the gut, just because there is a gluten inside the wheat, which can happen in a long run. It's not just you eat for 6 months and then you are going to face a problem. It will be minimum 3 to 5 years you are consuming, and for some people it might be more than that. So proper nutrition, you need to avoid all this. Now what is that you need to include in your diet? Very simple. Of course, if you're looking at the salt, I would recommend the bamboo salt, which is 6-bun, is good enough for us. It is a little on the expensive side, but there is one word of caution I would like to share on this platform is, if you're picking up the bamboo salt, look for proper certification and look for proper testing of the bamboo salt for heavy metals. Very, very important, because if you, there are a lot of products available in the market, and definitely you can get for 20 ringgits, 30 ringgits cheaper ones. But please do look into for certification from the registered companies, and if there is a, of course, FDA certification, definitely it will be good for us. Other than that, the oil, see, most of the oils what we use in the market, right from the sunflower to canola oil to the 2 ringgits 50 cents oil or the 5 liter knife brand oil or any oil you use. These are all situation wherein it will definitely enhance your omega 6 inside your body, which is pro-inflammatory. That means it will cause more inflammation, whereas omega 3 is an anti-inflammatory, will reduce the inflammation. Now, when you are talking about grapeseed oil or oil, olive oil or groundnut oil or virgin coconut oil, these oils will not increase your omega 6. That's an advantage when you're talking about these oils. So we need to see how much of oil you are using and then how you need to adapt to the newer version. See, of course, if you're looking at your virgin coconut oil, for 1 liter is approximately around 70 ringgits. It's a very expensive one. Even groundnut oil, if you're buying it in Malaysia, it's around 80 ringgits. Olive oil, of course, is very expensive. Grapeseed oil also is very. You can get even the bran seed oil. The bran, what I was talking to you about, taken out from the rice bran. They take out the oil. That is called actually bran oil, which is taken out from the rice grain. Now, those are all oils which you need to use it. Now, the good news is if we can terahertz this oil and then start using it, definitely in a long run we all can have a optimized health and wellness. Include a lot of colorful vegetables and fruit. So you need to at least a fistful of vegetable. That means this size of cup should be your fist. So you need to have a minimum, in every meal should have minimum of 3 different varieties of vegetables in your food. Now, vegetables should not be fully boiled. It should be half baked or half cooked or steamed. This is how you need to eat vegetables. It should be half cooked. Now, this is where most of the Indian cooking, if you look at it, is fully cooked, and then of course every nutrition in it is gone. All the enzymes have been burnt, so of course you will not get a proper nutrition. If there is a possibility, that's where a lot of Westerners look into the salads. Salads is basically the raw vegetables and the green leaves are included, so that when you eat all this, you will get the full good nutrition as well as the enzymes and the vitamins. Include a lot of fruits in your day to day, and of course we will argue on fruits, like what you are talking about. When you are talking about fruits today, people are selling organic fruits, organic vegetables. It's a little pricey, but at the end of the day they also will have pesticides in it, and definitely we do face situations like this. Now we can't be finding situations where we don't know what to do. It happens like that, but what I would say is, what is within your reach, look into it and pick up the right kind of vegetables and fruits for you to include in your diet. And of course, if possible, washing your vegetables with the terahertz water is good enough. Otherwise, normally I think every one of you would know that the way they wash the vegetable is use salt, or even they can add vinegar 1 teaspoon, and some people even use baking soda, and then you can wash it off to remove the pesticides from the vegetable. Otherwise, you need to use 11 to 12 pH of water. That means it's fully alkaline water can be used to clean your vegetables. Other than that, you have to include a lot of nuts. Now, if you include a lot of nuts, of course, what you will get is you will get more of omega 3. That is one of the rich source of omega 3 is your nuts. Then, of course, if you're looking at millets, it's a good protein. Even quinoa is also a very good protein, and the ragi, what I mentioned the last, is also a very high protein in your diet. But of course, people will be asking, if you are a kidney failure patient, of course you will be asked to reduce your protein food. Definitely you cannot take bigger protein molecule, but you can take peptides. Peptides are smaller molecules of protein which would be able to pass through the kidneys without any problem and get reabsorbed. So that's where what is happening is, it's much more easier for you to consume peptides. Now this is where in the market, if you see, there are a lot of products now who are being sold with the formulation called peptide, which is a smaller molecule of your amino acids or the proteins. Coming to the right side, what you see is these are the food which actually increases your blood circulation. Now if you can enhance your blood circulation, definitely it helps your heart and the circulatory system in general when you are eating. So what are the food you can look into is the cayenne pepper, then the beetroot, your pomegranate, berries, walnut, the grapes, turmeric. Turmeric is basically, you look at curcumin, where they say is a mainly an anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer. But at the end of the day, everything in moderation, and everything when you eat it in the right proportion, definitely it has a benefit in the overall not only circulation, in the overall nutritional status of our cells can be improved. So you need to be very clear in what food are you eating when you want to take care of your heart. See, most of us only when you get a heart attack, and when the doctors will give you the instruction as to what food you can eat, what you cannot eat, and many of the time you will notice that you were not faced just directly only heart attack. It's a very rare possibility. Invariably you will be having a long standing diabetes, or a long standing blood pressure, or any other maybe obesity. These are all situations which will lead you to a situation where your heart is finding it difficult to pump in, and then there's a compromised blood circulation. You will face the problem. But can we start becoming healthy from our teenage? Start off, what kind of food are you eating? There are methodology you need to follow properly, so we need to teach our children what food is healthy food, what food you need to avoid. But many of us would agree with me that fast foods have come into a vogue, which is of course making fast money. Like today, if you see, Food Panda is doing very well, Grab Food is doing very well. Of course, in a it's in your palm, wherein you just use your fingertips to order what you want, and you will get within the next 30 minutes you get the food. It is easy, but at the same time, do not pay the penalty of your ignorance at a later date, wherein you start getting diseases, and then when we tell you restrict your food, restrict your diet, you cannot do anything. So that's on the later part. So what you need to do, plan it right away and start looking at your diet. Now, coming to your exercise, it's a very sad state that many of us don't even look into it. But of course, there are a lot of, like, when there is an offer in the gym, or next door, they will say you just pay 120 ringgits for 1 month, or maybe for 6 months you pay 500 ringgits and you become healthy. Yeah, we will go pay it. Hardly we'll go for 1 week to 10 days. After that, no time, and then we will stop going to the gym, but the money is already paid there. Now here is where you need to have proper discipline. Very important when it comes up to your own body. You need to discipline yourself as to what you're going to do. Very simple. The first important thing, increase your heart rate from 80 to 120 to 130 per day 4 times. That means climb up the stairs, climb down the stairs, or you can do half squats. Whatever you do, your heart rate might increase. This is a problem most of us. We never increase our heart rate, and suddenly one fine day we will either climb the stairs, or maybe you go on a holiday and try to do overworking. Automatically your heart tries to beat a little more than it is required, and that is when already the vessel is blocked there, and you will get a chest pain. This is what most of the time happens. Now, one of the simplest exercise is, if you have a pulse oximeter, which is basically, you put it on your fingertip and then see what is your pulse rate. So one of the easiest exercise what you all can do is do a half squat 10 to 20 times. Okay, now when you, before doing the exercise, check the pulse rate, how much you have. Probably it might be around 80 to 85 or 90 per minute, it will be there. So once you see that, then you start doing the squats for 10 times or 15 times, and see to that the heart rate increases up to 120 or 130. Now this is, I'm talking of normal people. I am not here telling people who are having cardiac diseases, who have vascular problems. Please don't do it without a doctor's assistance. This is for the normal people. Now Once you see the pulse rate increasing after you finish your 10 squats or 15 squats, sit down calmly in the chair and see how many minutes or seconds does it take for your pulse to come down from 130 to 80 back. If you can do it in 1 minute, wherein the whole thing comes back to normal, that means you do have lot of collaterals. That means parallel blood circulation to the body which there, other than the major blood vessels, you do have parallel collateral circulation. So that is means your circulatory system is good. This is a very very simplest way of knowing your collateral circulation, and this is the easiest. We can do it anywhere and check it out. Now other than that, you need to go for a regular jogging or walking depending on your age. I'm very very specific when I'm talking about jogging, for the reason is, if you are 40 plus, definitely when you are jogging, number one, what kind of shoes are you using? Are you using good quality where there is a lot of cushioning effect, or are you buying shoes from a pasamalam wherein you can get it for 20 ringgits, 30 ringgits, but will it be good enough for you to go for a proper jogging? So here you need to invest a little bit of money to get the right comfortable shoes, so that when you go for jogging, you should have a cushioning effect on the ankles as well as your knee joints. Now many of us would have noticed that after you are doing continuously jogging, especially 40 plus, you will notice that there is a little bit of damage happening because of your jogging, because inside the joint the gel also may be less. So definitely when you're jogging, definitely there will be a lot of injury happening, and over a period of time doctor will tell you are having an injury inside your joint wherein there is a less of gel, and probably they will frame it as arthritis. Now all this can happen if you don't take proper care. Now how do you avoid this? Best is brisk walking. Simplest is do a brisk walking. But other than that, the yogic exercises, if you can do a proper yogic exercises, it is as good as going for a 5 kilometer walk for 1 hour of yogic exercise is equivalent to that. That's the kind of burning will happen. Now the advantage of yogic exercise is it does your toning, strengthening and flexibility. Flexibility is something which you all need to definitely look into, because most of the time we are all concerned about toning and strengthening and the muscle bulk. But I would say, if unless you want to compete in the international market wherein you are going for a bodybuilding competition, is a different story. But for a normal people, I would say you need to have a proper toning, strengthening and flexibility. If you can have of all the joints, definitely that is good enough to move forward. Keep your body fit and then start moving forward in that way. Yogic exercises is definitely I would recommend, because that's what I do, because I don't go for jogging outside. And other than that, weekly once sauna is definitely good, going and sitting in that. It's one of the ways of detoxing your body, is going for a sauna. Swimming is another wonderful exercise wherein there will be less of injuries. Now people above 30 years or 40 years, mild weight lifting would be ideal. For example, you can start lifting up a dumbbells of between 2 to 5 kgs is good enough, because you want to tone and strengthen your muscle. Look into this. So overall, if you look at the exercises, should be a disciplined routine for you, instead of doing it weekly once or overdoing it. And especially 40 plus people going and playing badminton also, unless it's a regular schedule and you are taking care of your joints, then it's fantastic. Otherwise, please do take care of especially your knee joints, and especially if you are playing badminton, your elbow joints, because tennis elbow is very very common. Shoulder injuries are very common. So do not get injured and then start looking at solutions for it. So exercise plays a very very important role in keeping your heart healthy. Now appropriate rest is also very very important, because it is a necessity for human beings and animals in general. But for our human journey, I would say between 6 to 8 hours of proper rest and with a proper sleep will definitely help you. But there is something very interesting is, are you giving a rest to your mind, which is, of course, I would say, the way it functions, like at a lightning speed, it can travel from here to America in no time. And especially when it is thinking of negativity, that also is very, very fast. So you need to know what you feed your mind also plays a very, very important role. And today's most of the people are brain drained. That means the brain is really tired. And when I'm doing my quantum analysis and I'm checking, youngsters, have issues with the brain. You can call it as a brain fog, or can you believe youngsters having memory issues at such an young age of around 30 years? Also, I'm seeing a lot of people having all this. Now, why is that? Because overuse of your mind also is not at all a good sign of being healthy. So you should know how to calm your mind. Now, one of the easiest way to calm your mind is taking proper guided breathing exercises. As I always say, you need to take the inhale breath for 5 seconds, then hold the breath for 5 seconds, and 10 seconds you blow the air out. That means you exhale out the air for 10 seconds. Now, this is the simplest way to calm your brain, calm your mind. If we can do it every day from morning until night, around 4 to 5 times, or maybe even every 1 hour, do it around 2 to 3 times to 5 times, definitely that adds advantage and goodness to your health, because when your mind is calm, there's a lot of healing happening inside your body. So do look into appropriate rest, and especially the mind rest is also very, very important. Now, there is something which is unusually I'm sharing here is the blood viscosity. Now, what is viscosity? Basically is the fluidity of the liquid. Now, when you say viscosity, how smooth it is. Now, you would have heard in Tara's sharing before. I've been telling that the viscosity of our terahertz is around minus 680. That means it's very, very viscous. That means it's very slippery. It's something like a synthetic pure engine oil also is very, very viscous. Now, what happens is, every one of us, when we are aging 40 plus, 50 plus, or 60 plus, now definitely your blood starts thickening up. That means the blood flow will be slow, sluggish. That is where you will see a lot of people when they are 40 plus, they'll feel unusual tiredness, unusual aches and pains, which can't be explained. When you go to a doctor, of course, they'll check everything and say, hey, everything is normal, and probably they give you a painkillers and send you back. But this is something which we all need to look into, is our blood viscosity. Now, the good news is, when you drink terahertz water regularly, definitely it adds advantage that it can help your blood to thin a little bit, and you should be able to improve the viscosity of the blood by drinking a terahertz water. Now, you need to eat food which is a help to maintain blood a lot more thinner than. So in that way you have the garlic and the onions. So these are all natural, and of course drinking sufficient amount of water also definitely will reduce your viscosity. So over a period of time, if you all can understand that viscosity is something very important in circulatory situation for your heart, definitely we have to have our blood very thin, so that it is able to move into your circulation much more easily. Right. Next, this is something which is also very, very important, your vessel wall flexibility. Now, for example, if you think a pipe is very rigid and the pipe is smaller, so what happens when the water flows in it, the pressure is high. So just imagine yourself, the vessels is rigid. Now, it can be because of atherosclerosis, or it can be because of your smoking, or it can be because of vitamin deficiencies. It can happen. Now, what happens is, your blood vessel, when the blood flows in, it has to open up a little bit and then become flexible. It should happen. That means placidity should be there in your blood vessel. Now, there is one thing is, as you're aging, definitely the placidity will not be there. Now, what are the deficiencies? Which one of the thing I notice in my practice is your vitamin C. It's a very, 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 very simple vitamin C, but what you need to understand is, where I hear a lot of people telling, doc, I am taking 1000 milligrams of vitamin C every day. But when I check them with our quantum analysis or with our hair analysis, I see that there is still a vitamin deficiency. Vitamin C deficiency is still there. So what does it mean? Number one, probably the vitamin C what you're consuming is not absorbed in your body. That's number one. Number two, probably the vitamin C what is should be absorbed inside your cellular level is so low that if you take 1000 milligrams of vitamin C, if just imagine only 20 to 30 milligrams of vitamin C is getting absorbed into your bloodstream and then going into your system, that means your urine is more expensive than your original vitamin C, means you're passing out everything into your urine. Now, as you age also, you will notice that your vitamin C deficiency will be one of the reasons wherein your vessel wall is compromised. If the vessel wall is compromised, definitely you will have your blood pressure a little on the higher side. Now just imagine, what I'm talking is all small things, but many times this is where you correct it, you can overcome a particular situation. So in that way, vitamin C plays a very important role. Number two is your tryptophan, which is another amino acid. When you have tryptophan deficiency, it can affect your vessel wall, it can affect your sleep pattern, it can affect your mood, it can affect your melatonin secretion. All this happens because of tryptophan, which is an amino acid. And I see every other person who comes for testing will have a tryptophan deficiency. Now this is another very important ingredient which you need to look into, and one of the highest why tryptophan availability is in spirulina, and if you are taking a non-vegetarian, the goose, that has got a very high tryptophan. Now coming down, glutathione plays a very important role, because glutathione is the mother of antioxidant. See, you and I are every day exposed to a free radical damage. Now, be it in the cell level, be it in the tissue level, or in the organ level. So, even our heart is exposed to free radical damages. Our vessels are exposed to free radical damages. Now, as you age, definitely your glutathione also reduces. And another area where you will have glutathione deficiency or less of glutathione is when your liver is not healthy. When your liver is in a problem, maybe a fatty liver, maybe cirrhosis of liver, all these definitely will affect your glutathione production and glutathione absorption. So glutathione plays a very important role in your vessel wall. Coming back to your collagen, also plays a collagen is something which makes your vessel more stronger. If collagen is less, it can rupture, your vessels can rupture. Suddenly you may see suddenly bleeding from your nose, or when you're brushing your teeth, it can be because of vitamin C, it can be because of less of collagen. So it can be a combination. So collagen also plays a very important role, and you would be seeing in the market a lot of people selling collagens in the form of bottles, and when you drink it, of course, your face get toned, the shaping, all this happen because of collagen. Collagen is very important, especially in your muscle. If you have a good amount of collagen, your muscle tone, muscle strength, and also is very good. Now coming to omega-3, this is where a lot of people, of course, I didn't come across a particular I would say laboratory doing a omega-3 blood test, but omega-3 plays a very important role, and especially if you're looking at omega-3, omega-6 and omega-9. These are the three omega this one which you need to consume in our day-to-day life. But there is always a omega-6 which will be on the higher scale. Omega-3 will be on a very lower scale. As I was sharing, I did my blood test on the 28th of last month and then sent it to Sweden, got the results day before yesterday, and definitely it mentioned to me that my omega-6 is on the higher side. Now when omega-6 is on the higher side, that means there is an inflammation going on in my body, And I do have a little bit of aches and pains which has been there for some time. I was wondering what's happening, and I'm consuming omega 3 as well. And why is that I'm having more of omega 6 and less of omega 3? Now this is where, in spite of consuming omega 3, it has not fully optimized, because the bioavailability of what we consume in the market, which is there in the market, the omega 3 capsules, is not sufficient enough. The I would say this the basically the quality of that particular omega 3 is not good enough for it to be not only consumed and absorbed. So these people down there from Sweden has come out with a product which is much higher quality, and they give you a guarantee that in 3 months time your omega 3 level should increase. So I am taking that product, and I have to see after 3 months what would be my omega 3. Now why I'm specifically telling omega 3 is because omega 3 plays a very important role in our inflammation inside the vessel wall. And for your heart you need the EPA. EPA is one of the ingredient of omega 3, and DHA is also another ingredient of omega 3 inside. DHA plays a very important role in your brain activities, whereas EPA plays a very important role in your cardiac health or your heart health. So sufficient amount of omega 3 is a necessity in today's life, so that we are protected from the damages caused by the inflammation and damages caused by the free radical damages. So we need to have proper amount of omega 3. A balanced ratio is very important. And finally, of course, B complex, which is a water soluble vitamin, which doesn't get toxicated inside your body, and whatever amount it needs, it will be picked up and then it will be thrown out. And for you and me, they normally do the blood checking of vitamin B12, and all the other things they don't check, like your B1, your B2, your B3, your B6. Nobody does the checking, but these are all ingredient which plays a very important role in your vessel wall flexibility. So overall, when you look at, there is a, it's a combined effort we need to do. Even though I'm just talking about the heart care, but you need to understand the heart is associated with all the vascular, that means the tubes, the arteries, your veins, all these are all important for having a proper functionality of your heart. And not only for that, if you have a proper blood vessels, the nutrition being taken to the cell level is much more better. Detoxification also is much better. The oxygenation also is much better. All this happen when we have a proper nutrition in our diet. Now in that way, where are we landing up? Once again, we are landing up once again here on this platform with the TerraHealth Resonated Water. So TerraHealth Resonated Water, now it's almost exactly 1 year since I'm using it. Definitely there is a lot of good benefits we have had, and then there are a lot of beautiful testimonies sharing from different people. But at the end of the day, it is everyone have to definitely try this out. And resonated water with terahertz definitely helps in blood thinning, definitely, because this is what you would have noticed when you do a blood checking. There's a lot of clumping of your RBCs, but after drinking the water and then 15-20 minutes later you do your blood checking, all the cells are individual and then moving at a much more higher speed, and they are separate. So that means the hydration also plays a very important role, which the terahertz resonated water does for us. So once again, it's the most easiest thing is we do have our terahertz resonator, which is a portable device and can be used. Now that the company has come out with a smaller version, which is on the tabletop model, wherein you can resonate the water, and at the same time you can get the hot water facility in that. With the press of a button, everything happens, and 3 minutes, the same technology they are using there also, wherein you resonate it for 3 minutes, and then after that you drink the water. Something very beautiful. I think this is one of the good upgradation for us from the normal portable device to a tabletop model, which is much more beautiful and much more easier for us to use. Terahertz resonated water has been spoken by many people, and then of course the users are there, the properties of resonated. We have been repeatedly telling what are the benefits is available. But for people to understand very easy is when there are clumps of your water molecules to go inside your cell is definitely a problem. But when you are looking at the low frequency resonated terahertz technology, there is a linear arrangement. That means they all stand in one row, so that getting inside the your aquaporins, all the cell wall gate, is much more easier for us to become more healthier when you're drinking this water. So as you're drinking the water regularly, maybe for 3 to 6 months, you should definitely be able to see some difference. But I do see one or two people who have told that after drinking for 6 months also they didn't see the benefit. But I would say it is not the benefit they are seeing. There will be some goodness happening inside the body, probably we are not able to recognize it. But in a long run, I would say when you're drinking this water, definitely the benefits are many, because your cells get hydrated, the nutritional. Now just drinking water alone will not help you. You need to consume appropriate nutritional food. You need to look into the vegetables, your fruits. Everything plays an important role. Now if you're drinking terahertz water and you're a very high stressed individual, definitely there also your blood flow will be compromised because of your stress factor. So we have to see, you might be drinking water, but if you are a person with high stress, definitely you may not see much benefit, because if your vessels are under spasm, the blood flow definitely is hampered. So even if you're drinking sufficient amount of water, it will not be able to reach to the destiny of the cells. Now, when you are looking at the terahertz resonated water, the frequency is around 7.6, which is a frequency which is more favorable for a life. That means it's a beautiful feeling of living on this planet Earth with the cells being live. So that is the vibration it creates when you're talking about the lower frequency. And our frequency, like if you're looking at the normal tap water, the frequency is around 120, which is quite big. That means the molecular size also is big and the frequency is also on the higher side. So lower the frequency and lower the hertz, what you see in our slide down here, is better. That means even peptide molecules, we are talking about smaller molecule, it's much more better if you're looking at the penetration inside. So what do you get the benefit? Definitely it's a easy absorption, removal of toxic waste material is much more easier, hydration of the cells is much more better, and other than that, absorption of the nutrients. When you do this, definitely you should get some benefit, isn't it? The benefits you get are healthy cells, and the function of the cells will be much better. Definitely there will be a better control of diseases. Now this is where out there 15 to 20% of the population who are all suffering from one disease or the other diseases, they will get the benefit as they are drinking the water. And of course when you are drinking the water, you should probably look into all the goodness of why the water came to you, and why should anybody recommend to you, and why should you drink that water. The good thing is, whatever goodness is there in the universe, if you are getting it, that means you are a blessed soul to get that particular product to you or the water to you. Drink it with full of positivity, drink it with all the love towards it, that there is some benefit you are going to get by drinking this water. Now when you're looking at the low frequency of oscillation, here what you see is between 0.5 to 15, and the living cells, can you see there, it's between 0.3 to 13 hertz is what the frequency of your, and the brain cells is resonating between 0.3 to the 30 hertz. Now higher the hertz, each organ has got its own way of functioning, but overall if you look at our terahertz is around 7.6, is within the range of all functionality. So saying that, today nutrition plays a very important role, not only for your heart but for your circulatory system as well. So please do reanalyze, reconsider as to what you need to do to take care of not only your heart but to your blood circulation as well. And to be healthy, look in from all the angles. You need to look at 360 degrees, and pick up all the information what is available, and then start implementing it in your journey of life. And saying this, until I meet you back the next week, fantastic weekend ahead, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to give this beautiful sharing of my heart care part 2. So I'll be coming out with another this one. I wouldn't know it can be the heart related, because I know there is another area I need to cover it up, but let me see. If I get the information, I will be sharing a part 3 of it, or I may come out with a new topic. So thank you very much, and then over to you, Lee.
，Lisa, open your mic.
Thank you, Dr. Prabhu, for such a wonderful sharing this evening. Yeah, you mentioned about mercury causing diseases and the Alzheimer. Wow, it's